What's up, guys and girls? It is me, Justin Omoi, here with another video for y'all. Today we're going to go over the patterns as well as the piano roll and some of the functions inside of the sounds. So, without further ado, quick thing before we get into it, please subscribe if you haven't. I do make videos like this every single Saturday, but for this week, since it is Thanksgiving, I'm doing the whole FL Studio tutorial. So by the time you watch this, by the end of the week, you will become a amazing user of the music software. This is something I wanted to know when I was a kid, but you know, the internet wasn't so big back then. So yes, without further ado, subscribe please, and yeah, let's get into the video. All right, today we are going to talk about the pattern window. This one, aka the channel rack. So yes, the channel rack and the piano roll, because these two are what, you know, completes the channel rack itself. This is all the, well, most of the creativity where we're gonna go and, you know, make the sounds. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about everything one by one. And yeah, so yes, what we have here is a sound file. If you're not sure, like, you know, how to get it, I talked about it in the last video. Just go in here, take whatever you want. Let me go back to the gun. Take that one out. There. Bam. And it's in here. Just take it, drag it, click it, bam. So here you see these little green dots at the left. This will basically mute or solo your sound. So let's say we got bam, 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 right? And then a snare, you know, the regular pattern we did before. Hey, guess who's back? Back again. So let's say we want to mute one of the tracks. We just left click this little green dot, depending where you want it, and it'll mute it. Hey, do the cha-cha now. All right. There's also the solo. To solo, you can either right-click, solo, or hold Control and click on a light. To unsolo, you click the same light, or, you know, right-click, solo, uncheck. And then next up, we have the panning. As you could tell, panning does the left and the right. Yep, that's basically what panning does. Sometimes I like to just keep the hat there and the snare a little bit there. Gives more stereo feeling. Next up, we have the volume knob. This controls the volume. This is one of the many ways where you could control the volume. This one is, it changes the sculpture of the sound, and then you could, you know, thing it in the mixer. We'll talk about that later. So yes, this could be distorted fat. And yeah, you could put it low. So yeah. Same goes. These little numbers here, these correspond with the numbers in the mixer. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if we put these in here like this, 6, 7, 8, you'll see the kick is here, the hats are there, and the snare. These basically put them into the mixer, which is something you need to do in order to actually, you know, mix the sounds, put effects, and, you know, finalize everything nice in the end. Another good way to do this is if you highlight these green lights, go into the mixer. Since we have to do at 9, I'll highlight 9. Hold Control, Shift, and press L. Bam. These automatically routed into the mixer. And they even gave the name. So I'm going to do that over here. Bam. So yes, now you can see.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Okay. Good. Next up, of course, these sounds. If you hold Control and click, you'll hear the preview. Same with this. Yep, it might be a little bit too loud, so let me go ahead and just lower these down. So yep, and then we have these little green lights, the select indicators. You could hold Shift while clicking to select individual ones. Say you want to group them up. This is, you know, the way to select them, which I'll talk about. Matter of fact, I'll talk about it right now. To group notes, not notes, to group sounds, highlight them. Say I want, I want the gunshot and let's go. To put them in the group, you could go here, channel options, and then group selected. Yep, Alt and G, and let's put this sounds. So there, see it's here, and notice the folder says sounds. So you could go to audio, unsorted, all, where these two are at. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit Alt G, instruments. I hopefully spelled that right. And there we go. So we got all. If we want just the instruments, we click here. If we want just the sounds, click there. You've seen me move them down, up, and down. I'm not sure if I talked about this. You have to hold the Alt button and press up and down on the keyboard. Yep, that's it. All right, now that we know everything about these right here, it's time to go into the patterns. One thing, when you click this, this is a generator. This is not a sample sound, so it looks different, of course. And there's a whole bunch of operations in here, hence the word generator, because you're generating sounds and such. Okay, now we are at the patterns right here. These little, gray, red. These are where the notes go in place. This right here, these 4 equals 1 measure, because remember 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are quarter notes here if we play it like this. So yes. You could fill them up. You could right click, fill each 2 steps. That's the easier way to do it. You could, we had it at 4. There's one that says rotate left. This basically shifts the notes left. So this whole shift control or control shift, whatever, control shift left, bam, 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 bam. This is the easier way to, move everything around, make it all pretty and how you want it to be. Say, oh, I want the hats to be on the 2 and the 4. Now it sounds weird. So let's put it back and take off the guns because, we safe in this. Then we have the step sequencer and piano roll overview. This right here is a piano roll overview, and these are just step sequencers. So if we want to, view it like these instead of this. I like it like this, but yeah. Last but not least, let's talk about, stretching this up. If we want more measures in your song, in your pattern, you could go ahead and drag it up, and it will be activated once you touch the, in the measure. Let's see if this works. Nope. You have to touch each one of them to activate them. Take note that it will not repeat these notes, so you'll have to repeat them. So, yep. Bam. And put it 8 steps, and then control shift like that. Look how easy that was. For this, we'll go into the piano roll. And since we are talking about the piano roll, I might as well go over it right now. I'll talk about this, and then I'll talk about the patterns, like the windows. All right, this is known as the piano roll. We have this little bottom section here, and we have this top section where the notes are. So yes, let's see, where should I start? These are notes. We could make them as long as we want. We can make them as short as we want. Remember, we are in the snap of 1/4 of a beat, but we can make it to none. So it goes, shorten it all the way down. This is just a hit. It's no different from that or this. Yeah, it is. So let's see how that sounds. Notice it has that because it turned into a step sequencer when it's like that. A step sequencer is one of these little knobs right here. Let's see if this... No, it doesn't show. But yeah, that's what that does. It's best to keep it around like these. like these. So you don't, mess up with your performance. Okay. Of course, left click to put the notes on. Drag. Right click is to delete. Control Z is undo. You could highlight by holding Control and clicking, and there. You could hold Control C, Control V to paste. Or Instead, you could highlight them, hold the shift button, click and drag, which is easier. So, the same thing. And let's do it just one more time with one more measure. Bam. Now the whole thing is filled up, even though it's not going to sound great. Yes. So, matter of fact, just do this. Do. Let me switch the snap. Oh, shoot. Okay, since we are there, we could group them up. We could do this with it. Notice this little arm right here, this little left and right arrow. This will stretch the notes. It'll make it longer. It will mess up the performance because, look at it, it's not on the beats. But that's all right. If we want to snap them up by the beats, let's go here. That's what it is. For the beat, we can hit this magical button called Control Q. This quantizes your notes. Although it's not quantized how I want it to be because the snap is at 1/4 of a beat. Let's say 1 beat. Quantize. Now it fixed them up to stretch them to the end, which helps performance. But there's some notes like this one right here and this one right here that stretches over. So what we'll have to do is cut them. I didn't show you how to cut them, so let me do that again. Hold the Alt and Shift button on the right side of the keyboard to, make a slicer. Actually, you could just hold the Shift button to do that. So hold Shift, it'll go per snap. If you hold the Alt button while you're doing that, it will cut off the snap. It'll take it off. But, we need a snap to make it nice. Now, if you hold Shift and press right click, it'll be a red line. What this does is deletes the smaller amount. So in this case, it went to the right, even though it was even. So if we go right here, it'll cut off the left side. Notice it cut off the left side. We don't need these notes. So, yep. Of course, you could put more than one note on top of each other. And you could actually use group notes, Ethereal Orchestra. Notice how there's 16 different MIDI, tracks we could use, sounds. So what we could do is actually right-click, piano roll. Now we're in orchestral. See, it says orchestral right here. We could use one for the flute. We could use 16. I believe this is the harp. And so on. Let's see, 10. Yeah, 10 is the percussives. A note to self, something cool to learn. In MIDI, the 10th channel is always going to be a percussion or drum. It's just set that way. I learned that in class. So yes, basically, notice how, the sounds is being played because we have different instruments. So yes, that's something cool to know. Listen to this. Say we want to take every one of these notes and drop them down an octave. We'll hold the button Control and down, it'll drop. If we want to move them by steps, we could hold Shift and up and down. Notice this is going by half steps. So yeah, that's if you want to transport the whole scale into a different scale, then that's good for you to, deal with. Okay, let me actually switch these colors back to the normal. So you see these little lines down here? This corresponds with what is going on here. The target channel is the inferno, and then the control is the velocity. So we're going to use the velocity. This goes lower. The lower it goes, the lower the volume is, the velocity is. This is good for keeping consistent sounds, turn them natural. So like say hi-hats and stuff, you just stuff like that. It'll make it natural because it's not the same constant sound. Of course, you can use this for other, uses and intensities. Say like the hit of a piano, it goes bing. If you hit it lightly, it goes bing, like lowered. Basically that. Then we have something like panning, which we could make this go all the way to the right, all the way to the left, a little bit to the right, all the way to the left again. Or the other way around. So yes, let's see if this works. Yes, it does. All right, you can use the delete key, or not delete key, but the delete tool, which is shortcut D, to highlight and delete sounds that, events if it's in the way, if it's annoying, if you don't want them. Then we have the channel pitch. We could right click to actually create lines, or we could just highlight. Let's see if this works. No, not highlighting. Don't worry about the highlighting for that. But yes, notice this is on snap because it's on a beat. So this also varies on that. So yes, you can right click to create lines. Notice how it's creating, different lines and such. Let's see how this sounds. You could go up and you could go down. Matter of fact, let me just bring this up a little bit more and click on this. So yes, that's how you delete key, delete these. That's basically editing some events in these sounds to make them sound beautiful, how you want them to sound. Also, since you are here and you're listening to me and you're being all cool and such, I'll let you. Damn it, man! Move these boxes. I'll let you know in a secret. You can actually create your own events and edit them. So let's say for this one, we want to change. If you right click inside of a plugin in a generator, it depends on which generators you use, because some VSTs are third party, and then you have to do something called creating an editor thumbnail, which is right here. You click here and then it'll say make editor thumbnail. I'll get into that later, I guess, because it's too advanced. But yes, right click, edit events. Notice the events opened up a different window. And yep, you could basically, edit the events, make them sound different here. I'll just go ahead and close this window because we don't need that anymore. If we go here, we'll see something that says recent controls. The delay feedback level, channel pitch, panning. Let's see if this works as well. Let's go to, we click feedback level, pencil, bam. Notice the delay. That's because we just went from low to high. Matter of fact, let's look in here. Look at this knob here. Because the feedback is all the way up, it's not going to stop. So yes, let's delete that. That's what the events do, which is very helpful for, making things unique and sounding nice. Of course, there's another way, which I'll show you when we get into the playlist. Then there is useful tools such as flipping. So we could flip and sound different. We can flip it vertically. That's a regular. It's good to help you improvise or create different melodies, or doing the work for you if you don't feel like flipping them all over. Like, I want to do this. And oh shoot, I forgot what the note was. Was it a C? You see how long that took me? I just hit Alt-Y. Yep. There's other tools in here. One's a good riff machine. It gives you, like different types of melodies you could work around and play around with. Like, let's throw the dice. That sounds very Power Ranger like. That's another good option. Of course, there's so much more we could do to it. Let's say we want to chop this up. I know you guys with the hi-hats go crazy. You want to do that. Chop, aka Alt U. Look at that. It chopped the hell out of that. And then you could change the multiply of, you know. So yes, that's good for cutting sounds instead of doing the whole shift, where you could just highlight them, Alt U, and bam. So yep, there's so many different things you could use. Legato Notes that basically lengthens the sound all the way to the end. So let's say Control L. Notice how it goes all the way to the end. Sometimes it doesn't do the last note because it's not sure like where the end is. See, I'm hitting Control L right now. But if we got notes here, Control L, every one of them except for the last one, you know, lengthen out. But yes, we can also put that there. Hold shift, or actually right shift there. Control L, legato. So yeah. And then there's a whole bunch of things. Say like, notice how there's two notes here. We could glue them together. Bam, see it got put together. So let's say shift, and I don't want it to sound like this. I don't want it to sound like that. It sounds weird. We could hit glue, Control G. I said Control G. There we go. Notice that it didn't work just now because I had that note selected. We could do highlight them all and then glue them together like that, just to target that one. But you know, if there's like chops everywhere else, you want to glue them. You want to glue them together without having any of them selected. Control G. Notice how all of them glues together. And that's basically it, honestly, to, you know, the patterns and such. These here. So yeah, just experiment with creating piano roll notes and such, and you'll be good. One last thing I'll go over real quick. The patterns all have different pattern lists. You could select, you know, look, I'm already at 999. You could select up to 999 patterns, and I doubt you'll go all the way over there. You could also clone, delete the patterns. You could split them up, which I'm going to show you in the playlist video tomorrow. So yes, you can find next. You can open up. Say you want to make a new one, or we can even rename this pattern. Or no, it's already called pattern. Bill's 4 days. All right, Bill. Screw it, Bill. You made me this way. Change it red. Bam, Bill. Bill is here, and Bill is red. We could, you know, plus it. Rick. I was gonna write something else. No, change it green. Rick is here, and he is green, or she. Well, yeah, it's a he. So yes, that's one things you could do. Let me just. I might have damn show you. Split by channel. Notice how the notes get split up into each patterns, and it's all over here. But yes, once you get the understanding of creating patterns as well as using the piano roll, you'll be then creating good music patterns. All right, guys, quickly, one last thing. I forgot to mention this. You know, take note of the time over here. It says 2:11. Yeah, I just noticed this while I was editing. I'm going to go through this really quick for you. Let's go. Let's go! Notice how if you play these in the pattern, let's go into pattern mode. Let's go! See, it might get too loud like that. We could go into the sound properties and do a whole bunch of things with this. We could do envelopes, ADSR, attack, decay, sustain, release. Of course, there's a hold as well. You know, I don't know why. So we could change like how it opens. You know, we could change how long it stays up for before we decay it. We could decay it real quick. Same thing with the pitch. If we raise the amount, we could, you know, change the pitch of it. I'm gonna turn it off. Modulation X and Y's as well. We could change the pitch of it. So the main root C is there. So we're playing an octave lower or octave higher. We could also make LFO sounds with it. This is like dubstep stuff. It'll be better with what you call other sounds. But you see they're distinctly different. And last thing, this is what I was gonna go over in the first place. Let me just change this back. Notice how they're cutting they're overlapping. We can actually cut them by hitting the button that says cut itself in the group. Notice how it didn't overlap. It cuts, meaning when you play it, the next time it plays, it immediately cuts the last one and then starts again. That's very good if you have overlapping sounds that you do not want. There's stuff like arpeggiators. Let's go range 3. Very weird, ain't it? It sounds better in like different sounds. Let's say epic. We could go to see, we can even do it in generators as well. This is a little low, ain't it? And then we got the same echo delay. We could make echo sounds. Notice how it's echoed. We could do ping pong, make go back and forth. And yep, there's a lot of different things. Gates. And yeah, I'm not going to go over all these. You could just experiment them. And yep, that's about it. Time to go back in time. Look here, 214. Let's go back in time. That's basically it. Hopefully you guys understand this, and yeah. And that is it. That is how you use the patterns as well as the piano rolls, the events, the articulator, the glue, the arpeggiator, the riff machine, and so much more. This is where you will get most of your creativity from, like I said in the video, but we are going to go over more of the creativity, and well, the creativity never ends until the end of the video series. But yes, we're going to go over the playlist tomorrow. This is where we're going to end up, chopping, sorting out our song, make it sound nice, create automation clips, show you so many more things in there. So yes, like I said, please subscribe and like the video if you like it. If you got any comments or questions, be sure to leave it down below so we could answer them. We, meaning I, as well as everyone else who wants to comment and such, they'll give you their input, and yep. Sorry I sound too fast. I'm just trying to wrap things up and get it to y'all before 3 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? And the time is, what is the time? 2:23. And yeah, be sure to subscribe. My name is Justin Omoi. With that being said, peace.